This conversation is a Q&A from our recent Superfood Garden Summit where Matt Powers, founder of the Permaculture Student and author of Regenerative Soil, answers questions from attendees following his presentation. So in this session, Matt shares practical insights about building healthy soil, creating nutrient-rich compost, and discusses concepts from his Regenerative Soil book. If you're looking to improve your garden's soil health and grow more resilient plants, you're going to find plenty of ideas inside this session. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. If you'd like more information about Matt's work or explore related gardening resources, be sure to check out the links in the video description below. Now let's jump in.
The book came out, it came out on Amazon, and then it couldn't displace, I mean, it was number one top release, but it couldn't displace Dirt to Soil, Gabe Brown's book,
Mm.
like off number one and number two. The audiobook and the physical book were in front of me. I love Gabe. Gabe and I have met, we're friends, and so yeah, no, I was never able to get him off, but I was always up there. And it just I've sold over 8,000 copies.
Wow.
And then Regenerative Soil Microscopy, and obviously microscopy in general, smaller pool, right? It's like always in the top five, and it's often number one. And I'll like check in on it, and then it's like number one, and I'm like, it's still number one, you know? So it's yeah, that was a so what's happened since then is I was able to learn microscopy such that and then DNA testing such that we could connect all that to testing with actual pictures and actual DNA testing so that you can see it. You can see the proof for all of those things. And then I've been able to work with farmers, and some of my students are farmers with like many like over like almost 20 pivots, and each pivot is 450 acres,
Mm.
right? And so it's like huge amounts of land, and they're doing this. And so we're getting results back from everyone. We're about to launch the database, which is going to host all the information that is feedbacking so that we can identify good, better, and best so that everyone, gardeners, market gardeners, and large scale farmers can see what best practices are so they can save money, they can stop using fertilizer, stop using pesticides, stop using all the biocides, and in doing so, save a lot of money. And at the same time, get a better product, improve their soil, and what happens is they get better yields. And so they so they like get rid of all those costs, and then there's a time period where they like kick themselves and they're like, what was I doing that whole time? Right. And then often because so many few people have done this, they become leaders, you know. And so there's a lot of people like Ray Archuleta recommends all my work. Todd Harrington, you know, the microscope guy, he's the person who helped Elaine Ingham set up her first school in the 90s.
Mm.
He leaned in 10 minutes after looking at my book and meeting me and goes, I use ratios too. And it's just incredible because I've been able to take this book and change farming all over the world, help gardeners, and it's in schools. So in Texas, it's in over a dozen schools now because I connected what I after I wrote the book, I created the teacher's guide, which is standard based, so that you can get accreditation for it at a high school or a college or something like that. So it's been the most amazing thing. I'm just so grateful because it's transformed my life. It's transformed the lives of so many other people. And now the USDA and the NRCS flies me in to places like Montana and Utah and Idaho, and then they have me speak and teach their farmers. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know, we arrived at this point now. It's wild, but it's so full circle because the things I was saying was, you know, at a certain point blasphemy, you know what I mean, in those areas. But we because we have the data now, because I've been able to go through and fix. It sounds preposterous, but I'll explain in 2 seconds. They were taking soil, you know, your moist soil has structure and air in it, 50 to 60% air. And they were baking it overnight and weighing out a gram. And then comparing that nice, beautiful soil to soil that was cement with no air in it. and then weighing out a gram, as if they're the same volume of the soil. And then even Elaine Ingham was taking it and tamping the soil down or displacing it. And so they're getting rid of the air.
Mm,
And so all the numbers and math comparisons in soil science are wrong. They're all
wow.
wrong. So I like basically arrived with like my like teacher smarts, my high school teacher smarts and my like curriculum alignment smarts. And I was like, hey, this doesn't seem right. And everyone was like, oh, oh, you're right. What have I been doing for 20 years? And I'm like, I don't know. And so it's been like that. And so I just feel really honored to be here. I was a musician and then I became a high school English teacher. And then I started teaching teachers because I got my master's degree in education and the psychology of education. And so it's about the way we learn. And then, so like sense making is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And so that's why, and I know I am a fire hose. My dad told me when I was like 10, literally 10-year-old Matt, his father said, when someone asks for a drink, Matt, you bring out the fire hose. And I still do. But that's why I spread it out over 20 weeks in a course because that's when I calm down and I just get to be a teacher and focus on just making sure everyone's getting it. And it's
Yeah.
everything is about comprehension. It has a pace to it. And the book's that way too. The book's laid out to be it's just the internet is so compressed. I get a little crazy.
Awesome. Well, I was thinking of fire hose with enthusiasm. Right? Well, I have a bunch of questions coming in
Let's do
here.
it.
All right. So, let's start with from Stacy. For a beginner, what is the most important thing I can do for my soil?
The first and most important thing you can do for your soil is to understand it because so many people are growing their first garden right now and they didn't realize that Grazon or something else was used in the compost or in the horse manure or sprayed on the lawn or something like that. Or their neighbor was a farmer who sprayed it all over his field. So it's you
Mhm.
just get the grass come up for his cows, nothing else, and that got in your garden. And you're like, why don't my tomatoes like grow? Like, why is my corn not grow? Like, what is going? There's there's sometimes a reason why it's so hard. And I invariably get those cases because I have a course, right? So I'm like, people are like, you're a guy who solves problems. I'm going to bring you my problem, right? And so I really, really recommend doing a soil test. And this can be like the regular university soil test at first. That's fine. That'll give you a lot of ideas of where you are. I mean, if you're like pH 8.5 or something, you're gonna have to bring in a lot of compost. You're gonna have to bring in a lot of like more acidic inputs like EM, like TCM, SCD probiotics, Biology Plus they're all the same thing. They're those three microbes I mentioned earlier. So I would find good compost. Catalyst Bioamendments, they've got good hot compost. Wormies has really good bokashi-based compost with millipedes. And I would either make it myself, but the best compost takes a year to make. So get it and then amend it in a way that doesn't use it up in 2 square feet. Don't add the whole thing. Like, so make a compost extract, right? It's a quick compost tea. And then you can keep that compost going and recompost it, and that way the value is not lost. So, and then that could be maybe the seed, if you're buying a small amount, that can be then the seed biologically for your new compost. So you could use that first compost that you buy as an extract, watering it into your new garden, and then you can follow up with EM a little while later, especially when your seeds are like starting to come up, because they're endophytes and they go inside the plant, and then the plant feeds them sugars and they proliferate themselves, and then they pump it out into the soil for you through their exudate. So it's all like very natural, and all those things in EM, the yeast, the lactic acid bacteria, the provolone bacteria, those are probiotic. We find them in probiotics. They're actually in foods all over the world, and they're universally in our foods. Like yeast is in everyone's diet in all the cultures all over the world. Same with lactic acid bacteria. It's all over our bodies. and it's also in the pickles and and all that stuff. So that edible universal, they're endophytes in almost all plants. So we're just using things that are super, super normal for plants and normal for soils. So I would focus on those establishing endophytes, getting a compost source that's good to start your own compost with sources from that site because the compost microbes will calibrate to the resources and the deficiencies on your site. So you'll be able to have better microbes that you create yourself eventually, but that'll take time. But if you just want to start, that's what I would recommend. And you can get those microbes from Terraganics, and their new brew is called TCM. But if you flip it over and look at the thing, it'll say yeast, it'll say all those things.
Mm. All right. Let's see. We have a question from Lisa. You probably touched on some of this, but what would be the best composting method or system when I'm renting and moving every 8 to 12 months? So until I'm finding a more permanent place to live. So a portable.
So I did the Johnson Sioux compost, and I literally put it into buckets and then rebuilt it on the new site when I moved because it's the best. It's the best method, the Johnson Sioux compost. And the reason why is it's a combination of everything and honoring our grandmother's compost, right? So it's
Mhm.
static, not touching it, but it's intentional. The ingredients are really mapped out. And then people have pipes that they put into it that are perforated, and they get different ones. People are sometimes creating ones that are made of metal because they don't want the PVC. And then they're wrapping it and then watering it. And they're leaving it for a year. And then after they go through the hot composting, so that's the second compost method. So it's static and it's hot. It then goes into a long period of breakdown where they add worms. So then it's vermicomposting.
Mhm.
So you really, and the most fungal compost I've ever seen has just been made from leaves, pure leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not hard to make really good compost. It's actually about what we don't do. That's why Grandma had the best compost, because she knew just to leave it alone. And then, you peel it back and then dig down on the side right here, and then it's unbelievable compost, right?
Good stuff. Yeah.
We all remember, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. Those are special memories.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it was my grandpa.
Okay,
He had
okay.
an amazing garden. I'll have to tell his story a little bit tomorrow, but I have three questions that I think we can do short answers, and then we're going to give away a book. So this is from Debbie. Using the chimney method for composting, how moist do you keep the soil?
65 to 70%. That's how we keep the moisture.
Okay, awesome. And Evelyn, I have chickens. Can I use there to this they're there to use to fertilize my fruit and vegetables? So their manure.
Yeah, so chicken manure is going to be really high and really hot, and so you're going to want to like combine it with something to break it down to like blunt that intensity because you can easily burn plants, usually imbalance things. Because what happens is the soil is often defined by carbon and nitrogen, like the ratio, and you add too much nitrogen, well, it's going to start composting that carbon, right? So you got to have that Goldilocks ratio. So I would use it in your compost. I would add it to the compost of your food scraps, and they'll work so well together. And what I actually do is enlist the chickens.
Mm.
So I'll take our kitchen scrap compost and I'll mix it into a tower with their bedding and all this stuff, and I rake up the yard, and then I throw a little bit of feed on top, and they go, especially when it's not the hour, you throw it on there, and they're like, "What did you do?" And then they're like, "Come investigate." Right? I've had
Yeah.
chickens a long time.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you. You are such a gift to all of us. I love how you have been able to marry all your skill sets and change the world of soil in so many ways. So thank you for joining us live. And you've been with us on so many of our summits, but I feel like I didn't really give the story of why I brought back, like, for our 10th anniversary and bringing back some of these presentations from the past, because I feel like we're sitting on gold, and your presentation is one of them. So thank you so much for being part of what we've created over the 10 years.
Matt could talk soil all day. And once you understand what he's teaching, everything in your garden gets easier. And this is just a taste. Matt is one of 15 expert teachers in our Superfood Garden Summit. And right now, you can watch every one of them completely free. Here's a look.
So what's actually inside the Superfood Garden Summit? Here's a look. Across 4 themes, you'll learn it all. Building living soil, growing abundance, turning your harvest into everyday meals and remedies, and using your garden to nourish your health and the people you love.
You'll learn from 15 of the most trusted teachers in regenerative gardening, herbal medicine, and home food production. Names like Charles Dowding, Ocean Robbins, Seja Popham, Kami McBride, Matt Powers, and many more, each sharing one practical, transformative lesson. Hosted by Denise Bynes, owner of Grow Your Own Vegetables, on a mission to help 1 million new gardeners grow their own food.
And you can watch all of it free together in your own 48-hour window. Go to growyourownvegetables.org/summit and start watching today.